Hey everyone, my name is Shannon Moore, and I'm excited to welcome you on a journey where we will unlock a few orchestration secrets with the brand new Synchron Prime Edition, and I'll show you how to get such great results from a basic MIDI orchestration idea. As the title states, we are only providing suggestions on how orchestration recipes can be served to sound good with the Synchron Prime Edition. If you're looking for details on the orchestration itself, check out the videos, PDFs, scores, and MIDI files at orchestrationrecipes.com. When the time comes to tweak the performance, though, you can take many different ways that will lead to good results. If it sounds right, then it is right. It's completely up to you. Even though we try to provide a simple step-by-step approach, it's never a bad idea to look at the basic idea from different perspectives, or to change something here and there, and compare the different versions. We encourage you to play around. Just because we suggest using staccatos over portato articulations doesn't mean there won't be somebody who prefers potatoes, or potatoes. It is important to know how the instruments sound and how they are played. A great place to check this out is VSL Academy for more information. For me personally, it also helps to have an image of the player in mind. What does an oboe player look like when he's playing a solo? How delicate is that instrument? And what do I think of when I hear it? Clichés will always help to set the scene, and that's exactly what we're after. Remember, the best way to learn how to cook is by actually cooking and not only reading the recipe. In other words, the more you practice, the better the results will be in both cooking and music. Before digging in, we need to understand the most important tools we're using. Let's start off with the options for dynamic control. The Synchron player offers 3 different presets for each instrument that will provide you with different possibilities. Starting off with the third one, velocity. In this case, the dynamic or volume of this instrument simply depends on the velocity of the input note. If you press a key softly, you'll hear a soft piano sample played back. If you hit a key hard, you'll get loud forte samples. The same is also true for MIDI notes entered in your sequence. In this picture, you can see a simple C major triad. With every note, there's also a velocity value assigned, so this triad is played back with a very soft first note and a very loud ending note. This preset works perfect for pianos, most drums, and is also great for short notes. It's very much like playing a piano. You're triggering the samples of the selected instrument. Next up, velocity crossfade mod, also called the velocity crossfade modulation wheel. With this preset, the MIDI velocity values or the pressure applied to your keyboard will be ignored. Instead, you will get full control over the dynamic behavior of each played note, even after the playback of this note started. You will see that your modulation wheel, or mod wheel, is controlling the dynamic behavior, and the MIDI parameter that is being recorded is called MIDI CC1. CC stands for Continuous Controller, and you will get up to 127 MIDI CCs for each channel that allows you to control different parameters in your Synchron player. We will play back the same triad with a soft swell on the first note, a little diminuendo, followed by a huge crescendo on E1, and a fade out to almost 0 on the last note. The velocity crossfade modulation wheel preset works perfect for sustained notes. You don't want a long string note with absolutely no movement, as this can sound really artificial and lifeless. This also works for drum rolls, but especially as a keyboard player, you might miss the immediate response of the short notes. This is why there's another preset, and will most likely be your go-to preset. Velocity crossfade sus mod, also called the velocity crossfade sustained mod wheel. This preset combines the benefits of both previous presets. Here you will see that 4 short notes are played back, but in this case, the modulation wheel setting will be ignored, and the velocity values in the lower lane are responsible for the dynamics. You can see that the first note is much louder than the other notes. As soon as we switch to the sustained notes, the modulation wheel takes over the dynamic control and the velocity values are ignored. This is a great way to shape the notes of your phrase in a musical way. As this is the most versatile preset available, we will mostly be sticking with the velocity crossfade sustained modulation wheel preset, and we will show you when to use this essential ingredient in the recipes. We will always use these same steps for every instrument. Step 1. Instrument and preset selection. After choosing the instrument, for example, trumpet 1, and the dynamic control preset in the preset section, the next step is to choose the mixer preset. You can select anything between a wet sound with lots of reverb, or a very dry sound with very little reverb, or anything in between. Also, some instruments have special presets. For example, in this case, the fanfare preset, which has a very prominent and bright sound. Step 2. Preparation. After the instrument and mixer presets are selected, you can choose the patch, also called the articulation. This is done in the dimension tree area of the player. This is how the short articulations sound, and these are long legato articulations. In general, there are two ways to change the patch. Option 1, you can select it in the Synchron player, which means that it will remain at the selection during the whole track. Or Option 2, you change it by triggering key switches, meaning notes below or above the instrument range during playback allowed changing the articulations, just like a real player would switch between the needed playing styles for a piece. Step 3. Basic phrasing. Phrasing might be the most important part of creating a realistic playback. There are different ways how an authentic phrasing can be achieved, but these two aspects will always be important. For short notes, the MIDI velocity is used. For long notes, where you also want to control the instrument during playback, you can use the velocity crossfade slider, which is mapped to MIDI CC1. As you probably noticed, velocity and velocity crossfade don't only change the volume, but also the sound and characteristics of the instrument. Much like the human voice can change from whispering to screaming, most instruments have an equal range of expression. Quite often, it's a good idea to combine the two velocity options with some instrument volume automation, which is best achieved by moving the expression slider, usually mapped to MIDI CC11. This slider only changes the volume and keeps the instrument's characteristics untouched. A combination of the velocity options and the expression slider makes every phrase, well, more expressive. After we've applied steps 1 through 3 to all the instruments, the results already sound pretty good, but you can always add some fine-tuning if you'd like. One of the most important tools for this task is the Timbre Adjust slider. It can be activated by clicking on this button and behaves quite similarly to the velocity crossfade slider. The main difference is that the volume is not adjusted as much. It is, as the name suggests, mainly about the instrument's timbre. So this is what a note sounds like now. There are two ways we'll use this timbre adjust parameter. It can be automated during a phrase or just set to a fixed value for the whole project or track. A second important parameter is the humanization delay slider. Musicians are not robots, and performances where all of the instruments start and stop at exactly the same time will more than likely sound artificial. This slider adds some random delays and therefore creates a more authentic musical result. As an alternative to the slider, you can always do this manually and adjust the start and stop for the notes individually and not let a random algorithm decide for you. As a rule of thumb, the faster the passage, the lower this value should be. After every instrument line is prepared with these 4 steps, we have to assemble the dish in one mixing session, where we can balance the instruments and adjust other mixing parameters like microphone selection and reverberation. Detailed information on how to use the Synchron player can be found in the YouTube video linked right here, as well as in the Synchron player manual. Alright, with all of that out of the way, let's roll up our sleeves and get cooking.